Hey, what's going on? This is the MCU Watcher, alright? Now that Phase 4 started, we have a lot to get ready for the next 12 months with all the scheduled content, if nothing goes wrong. But today we're going to talk about the SWORD agents in the MCU, and we're going to talk about what SWORD is and their involvement in Wandavision, alright? Now, this will be my second episode in my Wandavision series, so we got a lot to cover. So if you're new to the channel, man, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I am on the road to 1,000 subs, you know what I'm saying? So what is SWORD? Now, if you my watchers, you know I always tell you SWORD is basically S.H.I.E.L.D. in space. Now, S.H.I.E.L.D. handles more Earth-based threats, and SWORD has a more galactic approach to things and faces off against alien threats. Now, we first see SWORD in the post-credit scene from Spider-Man Far From Home, where Nick Fury has General Talos impersonating him while he's apparently on vacation aboard this humongous spaceship. Now, SWORD was created by the second Avengers Age of Ultron director Joss Whedon in an astonishing X-Men comic book series. Alright, now the acronym has been changed for Wandavision and MCU. It stands for Sentient Weapon Observation and Response Division, changed from Sentient World Observation and Response Department. Now, a little more on SWORD. As I told you before, it was created by Joss Whedon, and in the Marvel comic books world, SWORD's leader was an agent named Abigail Brand, and it originally started from an undercover agent named Lockheed, based in the X-Mansion. Now, Nick Fury eventually makes her the leader as she starts the interplanetary war, and she's half alien and half mutant. But the reason why I wanted to mention her is that she's an important part of SWORD, and her character should be joining the MCU in the future. And you think this character would take over for Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury, after he parts ways from the MCU? Now, I'll say maybe into Phase 5, you know what I'm saying? But let me go ahead and put this out here for a little fan casting. I think Rebecca Ferguson, or one of my favorite actresses, Maggie Q. Be on the lookout for this character later on, alright? Now, we first see SWORD at the end of the first episode, and with someone watching the sitcom play out, and we see the SWORD logo on the front of the notebook. Then in episode 2, we see this helicopter in color laying on the bushes. Now, I believe this is a helicopter shown in the trailers. It seems like the reality that she's in is expanding, and this helicopter seems to be getting sucked into the energy. So just think, when we see this from SWORD's perspective, this should happen in episode 2. And let me throw this in. I told you before the House of M plays on Wanda's grief and the emotions that come from them. So if you pay attention, when Wanda is distressed and flooded in the episodes, on the outside the energy bubble is growing and growing. Or maybe even her power is growing, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's feeding directly from her grief and the memories that she doesn't want to remember. So this right here, you can see House of M plain as day. So it's eventually, when will she lose her mind? And I told you she will become a villain, and there's going to be some type of team up to stop her. But back to the SWORD logos. Now, the next one we see is at the end of episode 2, where a beekeeper emerges from a manhole. Now we can see the SWORD logo plain as day on his back. Now, and then on episode 3, the necklace around Monica Rambeau's neck. All right. Now, these SWORD agents are trying to get inside, and every time you hear these loud thumps is when they're making their attempts.
What was that?
But I think when Monica Rambeau enters his reality is at the same time, and then we see her right at the beginning of episode 2. Alright, call me crazy, but it kind of makes sense if you think about it. Alright, but we'll figure out how this happens as the episodes keep coming. Alright, and like I said, I wanted to go over SWORD in the MCU as they're different from the comic books, and they will be very important to the phases coming up, as to make appearances in the majority of the movies and shows coming up. You gotta remember, you also have the Skrulls and the Secret Invasion that deals heavily with SWORD, which I think the Skrulls are using SWORD as a way to infiltrate Earth. So don't be surprised to see some of these agents are really Skrulls, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, like, right now. But I hope you got something out of the video, you know what I'm saying? We're learning more and more about SWORD as WandaVision goes. But next to my WandaVision series, I wanted to talk about who's really in control of this reality and what's their agenda, alright? Now, thanks for watching the video, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you watch the first video in this series and my video on Deadpool 3, alright? To all my watchers that made it to the end, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all, boy.